Welcome to BeatLab. This is your home screen. From here you can access the sequencer or the sampler. Let's start by entering the sequencer, the Beat button. The sequencer consists of 6 tracks of 16 pads, meaning each pad is 1/16 of a bar in a 4/4 time signature. However, this does not mean you're limited to such a grid. By holding a pad down and dragging it to the right allows the user to move the pad off the grid into a triplet, for example. You can also drag a pad down to lower the individual volume of that pad. I think the best way for me to explain the functionalities here is to create a beat from scratch. Let's start by making a project. You can select any tempo ranging from 50 to 200. The sequencer can loop up to 4 bars. You can change how many loops you would like at the top labeled bars. Use the 2 arrows at the top to navigate through each bar. The number in the bottom right shows you what page/bar you are on. 4 bars may seem limited for making a full song, but the sequencer also allows for live automation. We'll get to this in a minute. Now let's adjust some of the properties of our drums and samples. To the left, you can adjust the volume of each track. To the right, the properties. The mono property stops playing the sound assigned to a pad when the next pad plays. For example, with our hi-hats on the second track, as the next hi-hat plays, the hi-hat sound before it will be ended. The poly property is just the opposite. A selected pad will play its sound over the next selected pad in the sequence. The gate property is the coolest and is very useful when dealing with samples. One tap on a pad using the gate property results in a green lit pad which will start playing the audio. 2 taps on a pad after will result in a red pad ending playback. The sync button in the top right is very important. It allows you to import your own audio, export your current sequence, or bounce your current sequence to your sound bank. Your sound bank is shared between all portions of the application. Therefore, bouncing to your bank is particularly useful when creating full songs. Bouncing in the sequencer is also a way to add an infinite amount of tracks to your beat. For example, when you run out of tracks, just bounce that project, create a new project, and use the bounce audio on the first pad. After that, you can add 5 more tracks to your beat. Now that your beat is finalized, you can select the sync button to bounce it to your bank. This is where we can record live automation. As the sequence is recording, press the hide button and select the Properties tab to adjust your beat as see fit. The sequence is still recording as you adjust the properties. The sampler is used to manipulate and truncate audio. Many features including looping, pitch shifting, truncating, and granular scratching make the sampler an essential tool in beat or instrumental production. You will notice cue points throughout the audio in the form of small white lines. They are assigned automatically from peaks in the audio. You can use the cue button in the bottom left to move these cue points to any point in the audio. Playback is triggered from these points when the user selects that area. This gives the sampler an easy touch play interface, which is very fun in sample manipulation. The loop button at the bottom assigns a seamless loop after the next two touches of the audio. The record button records live automations and saves them to your sound bank. The metronome button at the top will turn the metronome on at the selected tempo to help time your chopped samples or drums. The sync button in the upper right is used to establish a wireless connection for importation of your own audio. Your sound bank contains all the audio shared between the sequencer and the sampler. Here's an example of how we can exchange audio between the sampler and the sequencer. Let's say, for instance, we want to trim, truncate, or pitch shift a sample or a drum. We could find the sample in the sound bank at the top and manipulate it as we see fit.
At last my love has come along.
Like I said before, we can move the cue points wherever we want within the audio. We can find the spot where we want to record the sample and then press record to truncate it. This will save the file to our sound bank.
Love has come along.
Now let's enter the sequencer to add this file to our beat. The Share button allows you to upload anything in your sound bank to your Krasidy.com profile. It does this through SoundCloud. The song you uploaded is now accessible in your profile.